Step into the darkness where reality blurs and nightmares come alive. I never imagined that a simple ventriloquist dummy could hold such terror within its painted wooden frame. But then again, I never imagined the horrors that would be unleashed when I brought Chuckles into my life. It all started innocently enough. As an aspiring ventriloquist, I was always on the lookout for new additions to my collection, and when I stumbled upon Chuckles at an antique shop, I couldn't resist. With his brightly painted face, tufts of orange hair, and wide grin frozen in a permanent rictus, he seemed like the perfect addition to my act. But from the moment I brought him home, things began to change. At first, it was small things, objects moving on their own, strange noises in the dead of night, but as time went on, the occurrences grew more frequent and more sinister. I would wake in the middle of the night to find Chuckles sitting at the foot of my bed, his glassy eyes fixed on me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. I would hear his laughter echoing through the empty halls of my apartment, mocking and derisive, as if he knew some terrible secret that he was waiting to reveal. But the worst part was yet to come. One night, as I lay in bed, trying to shake off the feeling of unease that seemed to permeate my every waking moment, I heard a voice that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. "Let me out," it whispered, a low, guttural sound that sent a chill down my spine. "Let me out, and I will make all your dreams come true." I tried to ignore it, to convince myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but deep down, I knew the truth. Chuckles was alive, and he hungered for something far more sinister than applause and laughter. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself growing more and more paranoid, my every waking moment consumed by the fear that Chuckles was watching me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I tried to get rid of him, to throw him away or burn him or bury him deep in the earth, but no matter what I did, he always found his way back to me, his painted grin taunting me from the shadows. And then, one night, as I lay in bed, paralyzed with fear, I felt something shift, a presence in the room that was not my own. I opened my eyes to find Chuckles standing at the foot of my bed, his eyes burning with a malevolent light, and I knew that he had finally come for me. With a scream of terror, I leaped out of bed and fled into the night, my heart pounding in my chest as I raced through the empty streets, the sound of Chuckles' laughter echoing in my ears. I knew then that I could never escape him, that he would haunt me for the rest of my days, a reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all. And as I disappeared into the darkness, I knew that I was no longer the puppeteer, but the puppet, a slave to the will of a malevolent force that would stop at nothing to claim my soul for its own. The days turned into a blur of fear and paranoia, each night bringing with it new terrors. I could feel Chuckles' presence everywhere I went, his eyes following me from every shadow, his laughter ringing in my ears like a taunt. I tried to seek help, to convince someone, anyone, that I wasn't crazy, but no one would listen. They laughed at me, dismissed my fears as nothing more than the delusions of a troubled mind. But I knew the truth. Chuckles was real, and he was coming for me. As the weeks turned into months, I became a shell of my former self, haunted by visions of the clown that tormented my every waking moment. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating, stopped living, consumed by the terror that gripped me like a vice. And then, one night, as I lay in bed, too exhausted to fight anymore, I felt something stir, a cold breath against my skin, a whisper in the darkness. I opened my eyes to find Chuckles standing over me, his grin wider and more malevolent than ever before. "Welcome home, puppet," he whispered, his voice a low, sinister growl. "Welcome to your nightmare." With a scream of terror, I lashed out, striking out at the demon clown that haunted my dreams. But it was no use. Chuckles had me now, body and soul, and there was nothing I could do to escape his grasp. And as the darkness closed in around me, I knew that I was lost, that I would spend eternity trapped in a nightmare of my own making, a puppet at the mercy of a sadistic puppeteer.